Session live stream. Today is 18th of July and we will first of all redo our analysis in gold and GBP/JPY, and then we will look to see if we can find some good trades for today. All right. First of all, we will look at what we were anticipating on Friday. We were anticipating shorts right at this point. This short was based on our pattern 4. We didn't execute this trade, as we could have secured like 35-40 pips from this trade. Later on, shorts 2 presented based on pattern 2, and we moved till 1699 area. So yeah, that is what we were anticipating in gold. And in GBP/JPY we were consolidating in this tight range, and I was pretty much determined that I will not trade in this range, and we basically ranged for the rest of New York session. Now we will remove all our analysis from Friday. We will redo our analysis. Alright, if we look at gold monthly candle, we were dropping straight from 1808 area. We dropped till 1713 area, almost 950 pips at this point. And currently monthly candle is rejecting from 1699 area. So we are basically in a heavy bearish trend. So anything in buys may result in disaster. But as we are scalper, we are looking for small moves. So we are just waiting. If we look at weekly, we have resistance at 1872, and we don't have any support. In recent 5 weekly candles, we have support at 1810, we have support at 1750, and now we have support at 1700, same support level from previous day. So we will draw our support and resistance levels in daily time frame, because these zones are way too far away. That will not serve our purpose. That's the whole reason we will draw our zones in smaller time frame. If we look at smaller time frame, we have basically a zone in here. We have a zone at 1735, and we have an other zone at 1744. All right, understandable. Now if we look at our smaller time frame in H4 time frame, we will readjust few things. These zones are from previous week. We are looking to see if we can find more most recent zones. We have this zone, which is a strong support level at 1700 area, and other than that we will look to see if we can find some in smaller time frame. If we look in here, we have zone at 1702 area, and we also have a zone at 1714 area, and we also are creating a fresh resistance at 1716 area. If we are able to break below 1716 area, we can potentially keep pushing up till almost 100 pips, I will say. If we look at M30 time frame, we are basically creating a zone at 1716 area. We also have a zone at 1712 area. I will readjust this zone, and yeah, these are two very important areas we need to break above or break below these areas for a potential trade. But at this point we are 35 minutes away from London session opening, so we are waiting for London session to open, and we may find a direction where prices can potentially move. Alright, if we look at smaller time frame, in M15 time frame we have a price action at 1717 area. So if we are to move up, we need to break above 1717 area to potentially keep pushing up. Other than that, we are just waiting. If we look at H4, the previous H4 candle was bullish. We are only 1 hour and 26 minutes into current H4 candle, and we may create a lower wick first in this H4 candle to potentially keep pushing up later on in second half of this H4 candle, but we don't know at this point, so we are just waiting. Below 1712 there is a clean range of 40 pips, so pretty much tradable, but we want a break and close below 1712 to potentially capture this trade. But at this point we are just waiting. And if we look at GBP JPY, first of all we will delete our previous analysis, and if we look at monthly time frame, the previous monthly candle closed bullish. The current monthly candle don't have an upper wick, and it is rejecting from 160.500 area. So there are 12 days left in this monthly candle to close, so potentially in my opinion we can create an upper wick in current monthly candle and potentially keep pushing up for the rest of month. But for that we need some confirmations in smaller time frame. If we look at weekly, there was a resistance at 165.400 area, and there was a, a support at 163.400 area. Now the previous weekly candle has closed a bullish with a rejection wick to the lower side. So in my opinion, I am expecting current weekly candle to move to have a lower wick first and then continue pushing up because we are creating a resistance at 163.5 400 area. We are creating a zone at 163.400 area. We have a zone at 165.400 area. So there is a probability for GBP JPY to potentially keep pushing up. If we look at daily time frame, we are forming a support at 162.700 and we have most recent resistance at 166.200. So we will just step ahead to a lower time frame. We will draw our most recent zones, and if I look at H1, these zones do make sense at this point, but yeah, and we have another zone right in here. If we are able to break above 164.600, we can potentially keep pushing up in this range, but we are just waiting. We are waiting for volume to appear in markets. We are also creating a zone at this point at 164 area. If we break below this area, we can potentially keep pushing down till 163.600 area, almost 38 pips. But the whole idea is I am just waiting for my patterns to appear. I will only trade based on those patterns. But at this point, two things make sense. We have buys above 164.600, buys above 164.600, sell below 164. These are two things we are looking at it, and we are just waiting for volume at this point. No volume, no trade. Simple as that. If we break above this area, we have a wick at 1720 area. This area 1702 area is a very strong area. We need some very strong volume to break this area. Alright, this is a trade based on our pattern 1, and but the whole problem is we are breaking below the low of previous candle in first 3 minutes of this M30 candle. This is the whole concern. Other than that, this is an excellent pattern 3. Let's execute this pattern based on our demo account. So this was our, I don't know how this buy trade was there on my account. Alright, I will execute a short trade, 27 pips of stop based on M30 time frame based on pattern 1. The excellent entry will be right in here when it starts breaking the low of previous candle, and the potential TP on this trade is at this area. We missed a pretty good trade, but the whole problem I was concerned with on this trade was the current candle don't have an upper wick. That's my whole concern. Even if it have a smaller upper wick, I will have executed this trade to potentially hit 1707 area as take profit. But at this point we need to wait. My whole concern with this trade was, as this trade was executed on M30 time frame, we started breaking below the low in the first 3 minutes. So that was my whole concern. And another problem was the candle don't have an upper wick. We missed a very good trade. but it was not a perfect trade. Only if the candle has even a little wick to the upside, I will have executed on this trade to potentially hit 1708 area as a take profit. But since that didn't happen, so I will rather stay away from that trade. Candles are about to close in 5 minutes. In GBP/JPY, this H4 candle is flipping bullish at this point. Now there is a probability for prices to keep pushing up and break above 164.600 area to potentially fill this range, but we need confirmations. Alright, gold has rejected from this wick to the left, and the only problem is current M30 candle don't have an upper wick. That's my whole reason to stay away from this trade. Alright, we have created a small upper wick. We are about to close. We have closed at this point, and still there is a probability for prices to keep pushing down. But at this point we are just waiting. We are waiting for some very good trade to appear. Yeah, at this point it makes sense in GBP JPY to execute a demo trade by keeping our stops below the candle below the low of previous candle in M5 time frame, and I am anticipating prices in GBP JPY to keep pushing up, but we are just waiting on our real account. We don't need to be in every trade on our real account. We just need to capture 2 to 3 trades a week that are picture perfect setups. So I am not in any sort of rush. We are just waiting. We are waiting at this point, and in my opinion, if we can keep pushing up in GBP JPY, We are just waiting at this point. There is nothing that we can do at this point. The hourly candle has now closed. The hourly candle in GBP JPY has closed with no wick at the top, and we have started to break below the lows in first few seconds. So in my opinion, if current 15-minute candle flips bullish, the prices can continue pushing up, but the problem is this trade isn't based on our trading patterns, so I will just avoid this trade. In gold again, we don't have an upper wick, and if only an upper wick was present, I may execute a short position, but that didn't happen. And also we have candles, H1 candle closing like this. So we are just basically waiting, and if we start to break above the highs, I may execute it buys. If if it is based on my trading patterns, other than that I will just stay away from everything. There is still a probability in GBP JPY to keep pushing up. Alright, the 15-minute candle is now flipping bullish in gold, and at this point I don't want to hold this trade. And we are just basically waiting if the current I may execute buys above 1717 in gold, provided that the pattern I wanted to see in here appears. Just waiting for entries at this point. There is nothing so far. So we are just waiting. Yeah, at this point there is no very high probability for prices to keep pushing up. This is example of instant breakout. Uh, Let me show you this one right here. This exact thing, man. This is happening in GBP JPY, and yeah, we are already 11 pips at this point. I am lowering my stop loss to 10 pips, and my potential TP on this trade is right in here around 165 area. I think I should execute this trade on my real account too, but man, it is moving. 165 is my potential TP on this trade because I have little examples of instant breakouts. So that's the whole reason I am avoiding this trade. Else, I just want few examples of this pattern to start executing this trade on my real account. I was basically expecting this thing to happen, but I didn't execute it this on my real account. Let's see if it will hit our take profit at 165 area. So buys above 164.600 potentially played out exactly, and I will say my TP on this trade will be 165. At this point we are just waiting. I am waiting for pattern 1 to appear in gold. It may appear, but I am super careful at this point. So we will see how that pattern will appear, and let's go to charts. This trade would have given me around 20 pips at this point, but I am not basically interested in executing anything outside of my trading plan unless I I can trade this pattern, but I need three more examples of this instant breakout setup. Exact thing, same thing was happened today. If we look at monthly candle, weekly candle, daily candle, H4 candle. All right, this breakout was what I was waiting for, but this is the way things are, man. I'm preparing myself to execute buys in gold on next candle to potentially hit to potentially hit 720 area first around 30 pips, and if we keep pushing up we may hit 1726 area, and I am waiting for this trade to appear. Alright, candles are about to close in few seconds. Yeah, at this point when this candle starts breaking above the high, this is my entry. My stops will be around 16-17 pips, and I am ready to execute on this trade. And I will also place my buy stops in here. Currently waiting for this M15 candle to flip bullish and potentially keep pushing up at least 30 pips. We are about to activate our buy stop. Buy stop now got activated. Let's adjust our stops. My stops is around 20 pips, and potential TP is anywhere around in this area. I will basically hold this trade because this setup didn't appeared in previous whole week, so I will hold this trade a little bit. I wanted to hold this trade for 13 more minutes, and if we look at GBP JPY, nothing in GBP JPY, we are just waiting. In the meantime, I am also ready to manage my risk if things go against me. Other than that, I am holding this trade for a potential 30 pips TP, but we are just waiting. We have a clean move till 1720. If we break above 1720, we can potentially keep pushing till 1724. But at this point, it's too early to say where prices will move. Candles are about to close in 11 more minutes. Alright, we are 20 pips in profit. I am securing something at this point because I I will not let this trade hit my stop loss at this point. Close and other thing. I will close everything at this point. If we look at our account history, we made 21 US dollar profit on this trade. The previous entire week was break-even week on six trades, I will say, and current week I profited like 21 US dollar on a single trade. This is what will happen when you stick to your trading plan and things like that. Remember, man, if I executed this sell trade when was it first break below the low, continued pushing down, then retraced up. If I executed shorts right at that point, I will be in loss. But I waited for my pattern to appear. It was pattern 1 and man profits. Finally some profits. We have seen some profits. So let's first of all we will take screenshot of this trade. We will update our trade journal. Yeah, it kept moving, and if I was in this trade, my take profit at this point will hit, but I am not interested in anything at this point, and we are in 30 pips profit on our demo account. I will close everything in here and close everything in here, and yeah, that's it. We secured like 23 pips, but and we are okay with that because if I look at my account history starting from month of July, we are in 40 US dollar profits, around 40% of my account. If I look at this trade, there was no trade like this in entire history. That's my whole reason to close, because little bit of profits give little bits of confidence, and that's the entire thing you need to dominate in this arena. That's my whole reason to close. I have never made 4% on my real account by following my trading plan. Although I have almost double, tripled, I will say 500x sometimes my account, but every time the fate is the same. I end up losing my entire account. That happened to me a lot of times. I will take two examples. Oh man, I need to find out the numbers of screenshot. All right, give me just few minutes. Today is 18th July 2022. Pattern 1 in gold. I want I am uploading this pattern 1, and there is still very high probability in my opinion for prices to keep pushing up, but our target has potentially hit at this point, a little bit lower at this point. Yeah, we basically just tested that area and we are done. This is what I was waiting for, and you see my exact trade appeared. I executed on that trade, made profits, and previous week I basically waited a lot, but on previous week I was unable to find excellent setups. And this trade was based on pattern 1. We have another trade in GBP that is based on instant breakout pattern. So I basically want the screenshot of this pattern also, so that we can look at it for future reference, and we may execute if this pattern present in future, because I have seen this pattern plays a lot of time. So we are just all right. We want to upload it in instant breakout, and We will look at these patterns in future. Still, there is a probability for gold to keep pushing up, but I basically am not interested in holding that trade anymore, so that's why I closed. And yeah, that's it. So this trade was picture perfect setup of pattern one. This is, I will say, textbook example of pattern one on which I executed, and we are about to hit our potential take profits in GBP JPY. So that was our bias. We didn't execute it in GBP JPY, we executed in gold, and that's okay for us. Yeah, we are just waiting. So we basically took one trade. That trade was based on pattern one, and we profited around 2%, 1.84% I will say, and we are around about 4% up for the month. It is my first profitable month, in which I followed all my trading plan. Previously, I was looking at my trade journal, and about a month ago, I used to say to myself on every trade that I don't need to follow my trading plan for this time. From next time, I will follow my plan. This time, this trade appears and it will go in my direction, so I don't need to follow my trading plan. So I basically monitor my thought process behind this psychology, and I addressed my issue and I say to myself, I will follow my trading plan for current trade and every trade that I will take on my trading account, and from then the whole thing started to shift. Right, we executed this trade, we made profits, and this trade was based on instant breakout example that I have shown. I have taken a screenshot of this pattern, and in future if it appears, it usually do appears, I will say, and I will execute on this setup in future.